astronomer Richard Monda. Welcome to the September 2020 Eyes on the Sky episode, an update about current astronomy, space science, and sky events for September 1st through October 1st. The first evening of September displays an almost full moon positioned against the faint stars of Aquarius. A few hours later, the moon reaches its full phase at 1:22 a.m. and is now visible in the south. This is the corn moon, signifying the crop of the season. By the evening of September 2nd, the moon's motion has carried it to the eastern side of Aquarius and just past its full phase. Also on the 2nd, the moon is situated below the faint planet Neptune. Now recognized as the most distant planet in our solar system, Neptune was visited by the Voyager 2 spacecraft in 1989, and the planet now continues to be watched by the Hubble telescope. By September 3rd, the moon is under the dim stars that make the circlet of Pisces. Then the moon's waning phase becomes obvious by the next evening. On September 5th, around 11 p.m., Pisces is higher in the sky, and the feeble stars of Cetus the Whale are now above the east-southeastern horizon. At that time, the moon is over Alpha Piscium, the star that ties together the two imaginary fishes of Pisces. In addition, that night, the waning gibbous moon appears very close to Mars. On July 30th, the Mars 2020 mission launched, carrying with it the Perseverance rover and the Ingenuity helicopter, the first aircraft on the Red Planet. These devices will touch down on February 18th, 2021, in a place called Jezero Crater, a location where planetary scientists believe there once was a lake, one that had an inlet and an outlet, along with a well-defined river delta. Also in July was the best comet visible since Comet Hale-Bopp. Comet Neowise could be seen by the unaided eye from a dark location and showed two distinct tails, an ion tail and a dust tail. In the late evening sky on September 6th, an 80% lit gibbous moon is above the Whale and far to the south of Aries the Ram. 2 days later, the moon shifts into the stars of Taurus. It reaches last quarter there at 5:26 a.m. on September 10th. By the 11th, the moon has entered Gemini and can be found as a 40% lit waning crescent. It's a little past the east-southeast an hour before sunrise, when the crescent is near the foot of the twin Castor. Before dawn the next morning, the lunar crescent is between the twin brothers, and ahead of daybreak on September 13th, the thinning crescent is below the right arm of Pollux and above Venus. Venus is always so bright in our evening or early morning sky because of its closeness to the Earth and its covering of reflective clouds that obscure its surface. But radar can pierce its clouds, revealing a world with mountains, craters, and possibly active volcanoes. On the morning of September 14th, the moon is 26 days old and appears across from Venus and between the claws of Cancer the crab. It dives to the sickle of Leo the lion on the 15th, and then an ultra-thin lunar crescent appears very low in the light of dawn on September 16th. The next cycle of lunar phases begins with a new moon at 7 a.m. on September 17th. Then the moon is back in the evening sky, visible as a waxing crescent in the west-southwest. By mid-evening on September 21st, the lunar crescent has made its way to the southwest and the stars of Scorpius. That evening, it's positioned just to the west of the star Beta Scorpii. On the 22nd, the autumn equinox occurs at 9:31 a.m. And that evening, the waxing crescent is to the upper left of Antares, the marker star of the Scorpion. Appearing near Antares is the deep space object Messier 4, or simply M4. This object is what astronomers call a globular cluster, a spherical collection of up to hundreds of thousands of stars bound together by their mutual gravity. The moon moves over the spout of the Sagittarius teapot on September 23rd and becomes first quarter at 9:55 p.m. Then the gibbous moon is over the handle of the teapot on the 24th, as well as near Jupiter. The next night, the lunar sphere is further east and appears near Saturn. A view in the real evening sky shows Jupiter and Saturn moving in tandem. Jupiter is slowly approaching Saturn's sky position, and the two planets will appear closest in late December. The gibbous moon then glides through Capricornus to Seago on September 26th and the 27th. Then it's back in Aquarius on the 28th and 29th, and then arrives in Pisces on September 30th. October starts with a full moon at 5:05 p.m. This is the harvest moon. One lunar cycle later, we will have another full moon that occurs in October. This is the blue moon, the second full moon in a single month. Coincidentally, this blue moon occurs on Halloween. I'm Hudson Valley Community College astronomer Richard Monda, reminding you to stay safe, be well, and keep your eyes on the sky.